edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery, and the professor's not here this week, so of course we had to bring back fan favorite Tim Hoey. Tim, thanks for being back on the show.
You guys are slumming this week.
No. This is an exciting show because it's trading. I know this is, for Pete, he's very excited.
I love trade day.
NBA trade deadline time, right? And it's really only exciting in baseball and basketball, right? Because hockey a little bit, right? But football, not really at all, right?
No.
Nobody even notices.
Nobody does it.
Right, except for the Patriots, right? That's the irony. So, all right, so it's a big time for Trader Danny, when we'll still call him that, right? Unless he makes no deals tomorrow, and then he's like Danny.
Yeah, I feel like we had this show already, but no, it was last year. Right?
Yeah, right, because he did nothing last year. Yeah. He did nothing last year at the trading deadline, right? He did nothing at the NBA draft, and we were all expecting big things, right? Especially Wick.
The year before, we were promised fireworks.
Right, yeah, exactly. And now, all of a sudden, there's been so many rumors. Does he have to do something big, or is it going to be something where he just makes minor adjustments to the team and waits for the offseason?
No, the Celtics fans don't care. They're like the Philly fans now. Trust the process.
Right. So we have a lot of good young players. If we can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, we've just won a Super Bowl. Everybody's happy, right, guys?
I think he's going to get a secondary big man just to bridge, like to your point, and then come up with something at the draft.
Right. Because at some point, you do have to give the fans a little bit of something, right?
Yeah, you got to throw us some ball.
I think they're going to get a big man that can help on the boards. No giant marquee star.
Because you cannot ignore
they're not going to give away those draft picks. He might someone that can show the blue chip guy. Oh, if I could make a difference, if this guy can make them better.
Yeah, and don't deal with Larry Bird, because we know Larry Bird is not Vlade Divac.
Yeah, and Danny's Larry's little brother.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want to think that we took Larry. I don't want to think that Larry took us.
But Magic Johnson's a nice little target. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And he wants to be a wheeler dealer.
He took our other headaches off our hands for the Red Sox already. Right?
Yeah. Right. But it's a great point in the sense that Larry Bird said the reason he never became GM of the Celtics was he didn't want to ruin Larry the Legend here. He didn't want to have where people thought negative of him. Does Magic Johnson risk being the legend that he is in Lakerland if he screws up in Los Angeles?
You mean like Cam Neely?
Yeah, right. Has Cam Neely spelled
Stanley Cup? I'm just saying.
What's the well? All right. So Cam Neely gets fired tomorrow. Does next day he's just Cam Neely, the great player?
Well, he's always the great player in my book, but if he gets fired tomorrow, you got to think about it a different way. See, I go up higher on the food chain. I go to Jeremy Jacobs.
So you'll never blame.
A horrible.
But you'll never blame Cam Neely. Cam
Neely, I think, might have a million good ideas and who he wants to sign and things like that. But I think Jacobs handcuffs any president or GM for that organization.
I don't know. I think Cam's incompetent.
Yeah,
Jacobs he's spending money now. He never did that, but he's right there now.
But
they have given their stars away for bags of pucks.
Yeah,
and you say, okay, this guy had to go, but did he have to go for a bag of pucks?
But Cam's job really was supposed to meet and greet everybody, right? And he really wasn't supposed to be the guy that was making personnel moves.
But he is now.
He is.
But the team once steadily declined from the day, they hit their high point when the year they made him the president. Was their high
Tim
point
Thomas, he should send him a thank you letter every day.
And since then, it's been a gradual decline until like a year or two ago, and they're drafting, and now they're on the uptick, but you can't see it yet because they're all young kids still in development. McAvoy and them, they're all a couple of years away.
You're starting to see a lot of star players become GMs now. In Detroit, you've got Stevie Eisman, you got Neely, John Elway, Magic. Larry, these guys are all big decision makers now.
Yeah, but then you see a guy like Vlade Divac, who is a big name, obviously, and that's become a joke. That was embarrassing. That Sacramento deal, the Cousins deal, is one of the worst deals in the history.
I love Buddy Hield.
I was shocked.
I do love Buddy Hield, but
could you relate it to Collins though? He just wanted to get rid of him. I guess it seems like there was character issues in the locker room, and
I know, but if you want to get rid of him, you still
get something back.
Yeah, you still get something back from a top 10 player.
Tim's right. Something had to have happened because he could be entertaining offers as we speak, up right up until tomorrow at 4 o'clock, whenever the deadline is. Instead, he got rid of him quick over the weekend for nothing.
And it sounded like Ainge was not interested in him. I mean,
No, yeah.
Everyone knows the inside
It sounded
story.
like
There's
a
something-
Jamie
whatever
Collins deal.
happened,
Yeah, right, exactly.
they
yeah.
all know the story.
Right, the coach doesn't want to deal with the player anymore.
Well, the team wants to be a systematic team, and he wasn't a systematic player.
Right. So we're actually in a difficult situation, the Celtics, because had the Cavaliers not come back to the pack and sucked the way they have the last, 6 weeks or so, Danny would not have this pressure to make some moves for this season. But we're only a couple of games out of first in the East, so he's kind of they're forcing his hand to do something, right?
Yeah.
And I would say, do we try to go for it for this year?
my opinion's no. I just don't see them contending for the championship. In the big picture.
Because it's a big jump to do. It's a big jump to go from a team that hasn't won a playoff series and then all of a sudden to think they're going to the finals.
It depends. I mean, if you get that right guy, you can be a serious contender with this team. Don't you think that?
Against the Western teams?
I don't think so.
why
I don't think
not?
so. I don't think you can beat Golden State no matter who you acquire.
Or
in the
even
next
Cleveland
state.
when LeBron turns on
Well, who can then?
Exactly. Right now, not in this state of the NBA.
So
the
you-
Golden State is going to win the NBA
Wait,
championship.
all right, so we don't try to win.
No,
because
but we don't mortgage the future knowing that we're not going to have a chance against Golden State. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Chicago Bears, 1985, right? You're not going to mortgage a future when you know if you get to the Super Bowl, you're not beating them.
Yeah.
Right? And they're
Somebody had to play him.
absolutely. All right, so we go to the Red Sox, and we'll go back to but of course, we love the Red Sox, and
We love them more than ever now, don't we? For some reason.
right, I
We
know.
really do.
I know. Why is that? Because we're getting older.
What's missing?
Well, I think I love the Red Sox because it's 162 games a year. It's a daily soap opera, and it keeps my interest like nothing, right? I mean, look, the Patriots are only top
16
in the
19
playoffs,
tops.
and that's it. This is every game, every day.
My only hope is that the Red Sox take on the personality of Chris Sale, and I'll be a happy guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
excited
he's
are
done
you?
everything right.
That interview
Oh.
this morning was off the charts.
Chris Sale is.
Oh, yeah.
He's the
He
face of the
handled
program
himself
now.
very
I'm
well,
all
too.
in. I'm buying the seats right next to you.
Absolutely, right?
Double the price.
Yeah.
Chris Sale
At
is-
double the price.
He was made for Boston. He is perfect for this town, right? He's that Josh Beckett 2007, John Lester 2013.
Blood and
Well,
guts.
wait a minute. Let's play the games first here, Scott.
What are you talking about? This guy's been a top pitcher for years.
Oh, I agree. But so
he's
was
an
Beckett,
all-star
and he
every
stunk
year.
his first year. So was Price, and he stunk his first
Oh
year.
no, Sale's a lot better pitcher than Beckett was back then. Oh, come on. Sale.
Beckett was good.
Beckett was good, but Sale, he's.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is, no one's come out of the gate gangbusters.
Pedro.
Coming to you. Yeah, Pedro. Pedro's Hall of
Schilling.
Fame.
Schilling.
Yeah.
Joe, Schilling was the only guy that I ever saw throwing 98 to 99 miles an hour in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
He came right out of the gate and he was a star
Yeah,
here
well,
in
he
this
was
town.
built for this town.
Yeah. But Chris Sale, I mean, he's a Bruin. He's, right? I mean, he's that Bruin mentality. Everybody's just going to love him, right? I mean, he's a guy that he may give up a run or two in the first inning, but then
I
all of a
can't
sudden
wait to
lights
be
out.
sitting there while he's getting lit up next to Scotty at the Red
No.
Sox game.
He's not going to
Not
get
a
rid
chance.
of him.
No, he's not. I won't let that happen.
We'll have this guy traded by the trade deadline.
No, you haven't heard me say that with David Price. I said it, but not with Chris Sale. And the irony is, opening day is not the must game.
You know what I'm
must see
happiest
game?
about?
It's the game two.
I'm happiest that Buckholz is gone.
Oh my! Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I know that was painful.
If
Right?
I had to watch him pitch another game for the Red Sox, I might.
So can you imagine if they go to that pitch clock they're talking about next year, the 20 seconds? He'll be a basket case.
we already is a basket.
They'll
case.
have to take him off in a stretcher.
All right, so you have no problem if all of a sudden Buckholz runs off 12 straight,
No, I
right?
don't care.
You'll be-
No.
I grew weird.
We've seen him do it before. He'll probably do it again.
All right, so we have to talk about Stephen Wright because it's a weekly thing. Stephen Wright is a cream puff. He is an absolute waste of space, right? At this point, we have a knuckleball pitcher, and that's not putting a lot of strain in your arm, knuckleball. They're basically slow pitch softball guys, right? And they look like it, they're shaped like that, and he's still complaining about his
But
injury.
he's still mad that they made him go in and pitch runs.
You're
And
right.
He's pouting about it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, though. I agree with you, but it's hard to believe that he could still be upset about that. Okay, it's a new. Everybody's turning the page now, whether you were great
The
or
rookie's
not so
got to
great.
do that kind of thing. Simple
But
as
he's
that.
Stephen Wright. He's lucky he's on the 25-man
Yeah.
roster.
And he's going to hold that over them?
Was this a guy who just made the All-Star team and then all of a sudden it went straight to his head?
Yeah.
Is he really still complaining about the pinch
Yeah.
eye?
There we yes. You have to check the Boston Globe 2 days ago. It has this almost contrived picture where I think the photographer's like, okay,
Everyone's looking at
right,
his
John,
arm.
you look at his arm real carefully, and he's like this with his arm, and Farrell's looking at it like, yeah, it's attached to your shoulder. Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yep,
your
you
arm.
still got one.
And so the Globe, of course, you know, they all, you know, they're part of this whole little conspiracy thing that we have to take care of, you know, Stephen Wright until he figures it out. But I asked you guys, he's a 4th or 5th starter. I mean, can we depend on him?
Or
Stephen
6 starter.
Yeah, it's more like 6.
What do you mean 6th starter? Erod?
Why not?
I'm open for Erod.
Erod is Felix DeBron times
Yes,
two.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
He's
He's just as much a head
Pedro
case
will
as
take
right.
care of him and set him straight.
But I thought Erod came into camp like 30 pounds overweight already.
Muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in the weight room.
right. I mean, you're depending on Erod?
Well, Pomerantz.
Another guy who's
No, I really do think Pomerantz is going to have a good year. I think he needed last year.
Yeah, but he's an injury-prone guy.
Well, who isn't?
Well, I know Stephen Wright
It's
is.
an unnatural thing.
Yeah, right. All right, so speaking of people who are head cases, one Blake Swihart, and we
Oh, my
like
God.
you know, potential up
What
the yin
happened?
end. And I just want to mention, boys, that if you remember a couple years ago, we could have got Cole Hamels
For Blake.
for Blake
Swihart.
Swihart.
No,
Cole
but
Hamels.
what happens to a guy when he can't throw
You
the
know what?
ball
I
back to the pitcher?
believe it or not, softball. It happened to me.
You have the yips?
Shortstop. I just couldn't make the throw to first. One day, all of a sudden, I had zero confidence in the throw to first.
And then wait,
I don't know what happened.
but so could you play the outfield and you didn't
I
have
went
that?
to second base. I
And then
could
you never
flip it.
Oh, with your glove, like Leslie does.
It's like gloving it. It was crazy. It happened to me though.
Oh, really?
I'm looking and I'm like, if I throw it, it's going to go 10 feet over that guy's head.
Knobloch.
I
Didn't
know.
Knobloch do that?
No,
Knobloch did,
but
yeah.
Steven Sachs,
Yeah.
right? I mean, all of this, but so the story is he cannot throw back to the pitcher when he catches the ball, which
And he doesn't catch the ball all that well either.
no. So to me, you got to make
You
him a
could probably hum a strike from center field though.
right. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you just make him a super utility guy, and do you possibly put on the market? And I'm not even going to turn over here when I say this. could one Brock Holt be possibly on the trade block?
How can you trade Brock Holt?
Because well, if you
He
look
can
at
catch.
what's that? Yeah, and pitch, do all those things, right? Because if you want to keep Swihart on the team, then
Can
he,
Swihart play short and second base like Brock can?
can
No.
Swihart play third base when Fatty Pablo Sandoval?
Hey,
Right.
you know, you're right. I noticed that he did get heavier since those photos.
Oh,
You were right
big
about
time.
that.
Oh, that it's so funny. And we segue into this. John Farrell today, when talking about Pablo Sandoval, did not call him slim. He said he got thinner. Right?
Thinner than
He
what?
got less fat.
Yeah, so that picture that we saw with that fan a couple of months ago that we
Yeah.
talked about on Instagram, I saw that guy, and that was a guy who was under 200 pounds at that
Yeah.
point. That was pretty clear.
Yeah.
And now they said he's weighing at 240.
Under 200.
He looked like a guy under 200 pounds at that point.
Oh, gee, I don't
And,
know.
and now he's at 240. 240. That guy's going to be
I saw it.
3
I would
bills
say- I would say
before
he was-
the end of the week.
He was 225 in that picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so. Outback Steakhouse in
take it
Fort
from
Myers
there.
has never been so happy. Yeah, right?
Do you think he unleashed himself at the table again?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And this guy's a joke.
It's hard to believe when those real workouts start. you
There's
know?
no penalty to him for it. He still gets the same paycheck no matter what he weighs.
But why do we have patience as fans for Pablo Sandoval?
We don't.
We are the premier sports town in the country. Do we really
But I
care?
think we've seen what he's capable
Yeah,
of
we-
doing on
What
that
have we
big
seen?
stage. Well, when he played for San Francisco, he was a great player.
At
In
what
the
weight?
playoffs.
And at what weight, you know?
But in the playoffs.
I don't think we have patience for him. John Henry does because he's got so many millions of dollars.
We're
invested in
hoping.
him.
We're hoping and
Yeah,
praying that he does.
Tim's
you know,
right.
We're hoping.
We're hoping.
And
Like,
then-
oh my God, we could have this really good player at third base.
They're hoping,
you know?
boy, oh boy, they're hoping.
Yeah.
That's a
Wouldn't it be
waste of
great?
time.
I mean, wouldn't it be great if he came in and had a great year?
Not going to happen. There's no chance. It's 0%.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're already planting stories like, well,
Wait,
if his
This-
shoulder.
This is the same guy.
I know you're
But
good.
there was a particular guy at first base who.
No, I was wrong about Hanley Ramirez. Okay, you're
I
right.
remind you every day.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I was
But
wrong
how
about
many-
Hanley.
How many games do they give him? What's the honeymoon?
Was this with Sandoval? I think 15, 20 games? Look, it's all going
Well,
to.
who are they going to replace him with? Brock?
Brock, yeah.
You can't because you need him elsewhere.
Well, look, it all depends on how the Red Sox record-wise are. If the Red Sox are 13-7, it's not going to matter if Sandoval's got a hit. There's not going to be a problem. But if it goes south early, they're going to be blaming David Price if he doesn't pitch well, and Pablo Sandoval, right?
Yeah.
They're the two whipping boys on this
Do
team.
you
Would you
think
say?
they would take Pablo right like after 15 games and send him down to Florida with some conditioning coach and
No.
I don't. I
those
think,
days are over?
Because I don't think doesn't have to. He gets paid no matter what.
They're going to make
they'll
up,
get-
Timmy. They're going to just make up another
They'll
phony
get an
injury.
injury, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another phony injury. They're already starting it in today's paper. Will the shoulder hold up?
Yeah. So another worry, and another guy who could be the whipping boy real quickly is Craig Kimbrell, who were you sold on him during
Yes.
last season? You
Yeah.
were. So you were happy the way he pitched.
No, I was sold on him coming in. I thought he was a great acquisition, and then I don't think he was what he thought he could be, or what we thought he could be. But
He's not a competitor. He needs the clean inning.
you know
It's
what
got to
aggravated
start
me the
at the
most?
ninth inning.
Opening day last year.
Yeah.
Oh, the two-run homer.
He comes in, and every jumbotron in that place
I know.
had this
with the-
prefabricated, like when Papa Bunny was organic, the song and everything. Now
Yeah.
they assign a song and a video to
Fire
everything.
and ice
Oh, the
and
fire
everything that's
everywhere. Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I know.
I said,
Yeah.
this guy's first day, and he's got a song already.
But that's so Atlanta.
Let it
It's so-
grow, let it grow, let it happen organically.
Yeah,
You know, everyone's got a freaking song now.
I know, you're a great point. Yeah, it was like, that's Southern crap.
Yeah.
That's Southern BS, and that
Yeah.
you don't pull that at Fenway Park. I think he's going to be a problem. I think there's a short leash on him, too, to be honest with you. I think that after last season and what he did in Yankee Stadium, which really was the turning point
Yeah.
of the season.
Oh, yeah.
We clinched and he choked all in the same night, right? That they're going to have a short leash on him, too. And we gave up a lot of players for him.
That was the most embarrassing victory celebration in history. I know.
Right, so would you consider, right, this Kimbrell, Price, and Sandoval have a lot to prove this season?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not
Right.
disagreeing with that.
I mean, those
Yeah.
are the three. Hanley doesn't have anything to
Then
prove
by
right now.
extension, does Dombrowski have a lot to prove because those were his three key acquisitions
Yeah, you're
last
right,
year.
Joe. There you go.
You're right,
there.
absolutely, yeah. And if Yohan
Put a bow on
Moncada ends up being Roberto Alomar and Chris Sale,
Who would ever think that?
and Chris Sale ends up, well, I don't even want to say it,
Yeah.
spitting a bit and then, going crazy with some, scissors.
Well, he might not,
Right.
he might not, do poorly. He might get injured. That could happen to anyone.
Right, yeah, well, you can't, yeah.
I mean, Kimbrell has the physical makeup to be successful.
Yeah, but
Just
like
not
you
the
said,
mental.
the mental makeup, yeah, he's kind of a mental midget. But hopefully second season,
Yeah.
Big acclamation to Boston, too.
Yeah, and
A lot of guys come in here. It takes a year, 2
Yeah.
years to really get the feel of the place.
And
But
everybody
geez,
felt
should
that
be
he had
able
the
to
right
come in
makeup
the
for
eighth
Boston.
inning
But
or with a
people-
man on
No,
base.
nobody's
so-
used to. Yeah, there was an article today about
baseball.
maybe yesterday about these pitchers. Pedro's talking these guys into it. They used to 2 reporters asking them questions after the game. All of a sudden, there's 50 reporters around them. Asking
No,
them,
you're
"Hey,
right.
The pressure's on. Man, maybe it takes a little time for. Hopefully, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
well, Purcell is a great example of that.
Perfect
I
example.
mean, yeah.
Well, Price, in Tampa Bay, like you said, a couple of quarters ate your locker. Now here, you have to have a press conference every start.
Call Crawford.
Price just has to keep his mouth shut and
Yeah.
pitch. That he runs his mouth too much, and he has big ears, right? He has
You
rabbit
can
ears.
do that when
Yeah.
you're winning.
Yeah, right. But still, in this town, people are going to
He's a
say
little
crap
too
no matter
sensitive
what.
to criticism.
Yeah. All right, so I'm not hungover from the Big Papi era. I love Big Papi, but I understand that he's over, and I love you so much, Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. But
You've moved on.
Right, I moved on, but it seems like there's still a hangover with the fans, and it's still Big Papi seems to be mentioned in the first sentence when you start talking about the Red Sox. Will he come back and all this stuff? So will there be a hangover for the Red Sox fans without him?
How can there not be? You can't escape it.
Yeah.
Every time anyone asks a current Red Sox player, a rostered player, a question, like you say, it's always, what do you think? Do you think Papi will come back? Oh, yeah, he'll come back if we need him, you know. I mean, let's move on from that. He's not here
But there
anymore.
was, Pete, there was an aura that surrounded this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I remember, you know, when
Everyone loves
it
a
used to be
winner.
Manny and Poppy. I'd be flipping through the channels and I'd see Manny and Poppy getting up, and I would stop no matter if there were 20 games out or 20, and I would watch them. I think Poppy, you're flipping through the channels, you see Poppy getting up, you don't change the channel.
Right. And we know a lot of tourists, when they come to town,
The whole
they want to go
park.
to a Red Sox game, they want to see Fenway Park, but when they walk in, after they look at Fenway Park, who do they want to go see? They want to see Big Papi play.
And he delivered.
Yeah.
He did. The guy owes this
Absolutely.
town nothing.
Right.
You know, and
So you're
But
going to
he's
see...
gone.
Even when he struck out, he gave you a
Yeah, I
shot.
mean, he's gone.
And that's why we took his hands off. Just kind of a slow process, and during the season, we'll take a leg
the
off.
next superstar to come in and own this town. You know,
And it's going
it's
to...
wide open for someone to take
What's it
wide open
set
for
up
somebody to
for?
take our heart this year. You know,
I think it's set up for Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I love Xander.
Mookie.
Yeah, but and I thought it was Xander, but I think Mookie's
Not Hanley.
no.
I think Hanley's going to take a step back this year. We
I
might
don't know,
only
he came on fire at the
yeah.
end of last year.
No,
we
I-
might
he
only
was-
see like 120 games. He's due for an injury-prone year.
No, see, all of a sudden now, I can't believe it, and the professor's not even here, and I'm saying,
Oh,
no, I think Hanley's going to even have a better season this year because
He seems to have found his groove.
yeah,
He
he's,
seems to
well,
be the
now
new
he's
Poppy,
going to be the poor
Charlie
man
and
Poppy. Poor man's Poppy.
and then also remember he's going to be able to DH half of the season
I think the whole
His swing
season,
was
right?
beautiful at the end of
at
last
times.
year.
Yeah.
He was swinging the bat beautiful.
Oh my God! Yeah. Look, I was wrong, and I
What? What?
it happens once a year, like Groundhog Day. All right, let's skip. We gotta go quickly.
No
because-
more Hanley talk?
No more. Yeah, I know. I can't. Professors, I can't believe this. All right, we have to go to the Patriots because he only won the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys remember.
A couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
But all right, so Brookline's own Tom Brady again continued to emphasize this week that he wants to play 5 more years. Is this a way of saying, you know, kind of like if we're spinning the record the opposite way, that makes sure to trade Jimmy G in the offseason, trade Jimmy G in the offseason? Is that what he wants?
Who, Tom Brady?
Yeah.
I don't think he's worried about Jimmy G. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you think he's worried about him?
No.
See, I think
I
he
don't
is.
think so either.
I
I
think-
don't think he is. I think he's got a free pass for as long as
Oh,
he wants
yeah.
in this town.
Oh, I don't think so.
Everyone else, Belichick thinks
But
so,
Jimmy
Kraft
G
thinks
will
so,
not
but I
be-
think maybe he might have something there.
They're not
Brady
friends?
invents competition where none exists.
They're not friends. You never see them talking in the sidelines when they're when he's on the
Yeah,
bench.
but there's
He's
always-
sitting there with McDaniels. He's never sitting there with Jimmy G.
There's always going to be a backup. I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah, but look, if when you had who did we have the guys?
Are you saying Tom Brady's threatened by Jimmy G?
Absolutely, because
Tom
that's
Brady's
his
threatened by
personality.
everyone that is
Yeah.
Yeah,
behind
but
him.
Jimmy G will not be in a Patriots uniform at the beginning of the season.
You sure?
I don't know about
I
that.
think he
They're
will be.
going to get offered something pretty good for him.
They're going to sit back and wait, and unless I think they get a first and a second, I think he's going to be in a Patriots uniform.
I
yeah,
think they're going to get it. I really do. I think that the Patriots are going to get an offer that they're going to say, okay.
That number 3 from Chicago, I pulled it.
But remember, guys, it's not just the pick. We can just say number 3 pick. They have to be in love with the player that they think they can get.
Yeah.
Yes.
In
I
exchange
was
for
thinking
Jimmy
about
G.
that.
But number
It's just
Who's
not
on the board?
Yeah.
Who's on the board?
Number 3's got that kid from Alabama that he just gonna drool over, the